Hey, do you guys want to buy a kingfish? You want to live in a crazy house even though you're not crazy? Are you in the market for two-headed monsters? If you just like listening to more stories every week, then you can help me out. Go to my website, jmohr.com, and click on the Amazon link on my website. If you're going to be shopping at Amazon anyway, why not help support more stories at the same time by going to jmohr.com, jaymohr.com, bleep, and then click on the Amazon link to their homepage, and then you can shop for whatever you want. Instead of me pushing a product on you, you can just simply go to Amazon.com through jmohr.com and get any product you want. I mean, I do a lot of favors for you, don't I? I ask you for one thing here, Henry. Go to Amazon.com through jmohr.com. Look, this is Harvey Keitel. Go to jmohr.com. Click the link. Who's going to be okay at Amazon.com through jmohr.com? Say the damn words. Do me a favor. Help us out. Help keep this podcast rolling. You know how much money I got to pay Matt Cohen every week? Go to Amazon.com through jmohr.com, and I will personally mail each of you $15 million. Part of this was made up. Hey, come see me live if you live in Richmond, British Columbia, Vancouver. Where are you at? Canada. I'm going to be at River Rock Casino, March 30th. Also, come see us do a live podcast at the incredible Irvine Improv, April 4th and April 10th. Can't wait to see you guys out there. But at my donuts.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts. I want to work with you a lot.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Paul Soter is our guest. He directed Watching the Detectives. Cillian or Cillian Murphy?
I thought it was Cillian, but when I met him, he said it's Killian. I guess that's the Celtic, Gaelic.
Like the Boston Celtics.
Exactly. Just so it's an easy way to remember. Celtics, yeah.
And every meathead in Boston is running around saying it wrong, and no one has the heart to go, hey, Chappie, it's Celtic. No, sir.
Nah.
Antoine Walker is a fucking wicked retarded forward, JJ. And Lucy Liu, Cillian Murphy, and we said, someone worked with Lucy Liu that I know and saw her naked. They didn't have sex, but they just saw her naked. It was a girl and they knew each other. And they changed and saw her naked, and they said it was one of the more disappointing things they had seen. Like, it was a very unfortunate naked body.
But you're saying that was a girl who said that?
Yeah.
You have to take that with a grain of salt. I mean, what is she, you know?
Well,
all they do is tear each other down,
but
right?
It was Lucy Liu's wife.
I see.
But you said when you were directing Watching Her Detectives.
Yeah. Listen, I had written this very, I think, sort of chaste make-out scene between Lucy and Cillian, but we got in the room. We got, it was my first movie I was directing. So, I mean, I've been involved in movies. I kind of knew how sort of intimate scenes worked. And this was a case where, like, it just was me in the room. It was a locked-off thing. They sent everybody else away, me and the DP. And I just said, do what feels comfortable. Because I was like, it's Lucy Liu. This is a little indie movie. She's not going to take her clothes off or anything. So I'm like, all right, you guys just make out. You guys just fool around.
You wrote it, too.
Yeah. So, and I wrote it to be like they're on bed and
they're in bed making out.
Yeah, and it was kind of launch this romantic montage.
Right.
So all that I really needed was for them to have the first sort of kiss,
the spark.
Yeah, and then it was gonna.
Like, my question though, there was nothing written that said like the clothes come off and they go wild.
Not even close. So
sorry,
we get started, and I just said, just whatever you guys are comfortable with, and the next thing I know, like, she's on top of him, and her top just kind of comes off. I think she was wearing like a loose t-shirt.
It was a melt away.
Yeah, it was like some sort of sheer tear away.
NBA warm up,
a Celtics jersey.
Yeah,
tear away.
A Celtics jersey rip away warm up.
So there ended up being frontal nudity completely out of nowhere.
How did her pants come off? Or do we have to look at the game tape?
Well, that's the thing, is that then, and I was like, well, there's no way she's gonna. I mean, it felt like it just kind of happened, and so I was like, surely she'll come to me and be like, all right, that shit doesn't get out. And she was like, whatever. If you like it, use it. And I was like, God, it couldn't be any cooler.
How did the pants get off? You have a memory of the shirt.
No. Her pants. She was wearing some like shorts. Shorts stayed on.
Oh, okay.
What was your friend talking about? Like her
completely nude,
below
like
the equator
dressing room. Yeah.
Well, I would just say, I mean, she looked great, but then her manager did call me at some point. It was like, you're not going to use. Is her manager
Barry Katz?
Who was her?
Look,
manager?
Man, Lucy's not used to doing full frontal.
So anyway, I've got it. I've seen it, and I've got the dailies. And I always think to myself, God, I mean, because she's not in the habit of doing nudity. I don't know that there's any movie out there.
She's no Kate Winslet.
Right. She's no bodice ripping Kate Winslet.
Kate, we're doing a movie where you're a Nazi war criminal. Do you think you could do nudity for us? It's integral to the story of your Nazi war criminal going back on trial as an old woman.
Right. It's our Schindler's List from the other point of view.
Now, Cillian Murphy is like a raging hot, super hot, what is he, Welsh, Scottish, Irish?
Irish.
He's like a super hot guy, so maybe actresses just sort of like fall under his
I think
spell.
That could have been what happened. Because he does have like vampire eyes. Like he has
Eric
eyes
Roberts' lips.
Yes, he's got bee-stung lips.
He's got Andy Pettit lips.
It's what Macaulay Culkin lips, as the Broken Lizard used to jokingly refer to as blowjob lips.
Just lost my erection.
But,
Jason Sudeikis was also in this movie.
Great guy.
One of the best heads of hair I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I was doing Burt Wonderstone, and Olivia Wilde's in it, and he came to set one day, and I'm like, who's this guy with the great hair? And it was Sudeikis, who apparently has he's walking around with like a magic stick between his legs because it was like January Jones. Like he dates these chicks. Well, Olivia Wilde he's been with for a while.
Yeah, I only knew that. I only found that out the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very public.
I still thought he was behind the January Jones.
He tossed that shit aside in a week, and she went out and got fucking pregnant. He just goes through them. He's got like the dick of death for some.
But is the baby not his baby?
No, she won't say who the father is. Has she yet? January Jones had a baby. Won't tell anybody who the father is.
You watch Mad Men?
Yeah.
You what the fat? How do you think about the fat January Jones? Oh, spoiler alert! Should I say?
I didn't see it.
In case anybody
is that the new season?
The new season. Yeah, that's her line, her storyline in this new season is, and it's ridiculous because she's huge, and I don't know what kind of movie magic they're doing. I suppose I should.
Oh, it looks good.
It looks so good that it's distracting. She's like, okay, clearly this isn't real because nobody. I know she just had her baby, but she's knowing actresses in a little bit as I do. No one would ever let themselves be that fat for a role. A woman would never. It's crazy.
Well, it might be you're right. In Mad Men, the only hypothesis I could have is with Mad Men, it seems like that character was so one note for 3-4 years. Like, yes, Don, whatever you want, Don. And he got to do the most fascinating shit that maybe when they said, we're going to have you be a fatso, she was like, now I get the Emmy, asshole.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because it'll be like a De Niro Raging Bull thing. Can you imagine if an actress put on, on 70 pounds for a role?
I was thinking more Medea Family Reunion.
Okay. Big Mama's Big Mama's house?
Yeah, there's 3 of them. There's 3 Big Mama House. Wow. There's Big Mama's House 2 with the number 2, and then there's like father like son Big Mama's House where he gets like a young he gets like a young Urkel guy and just another kid. What is it about African American?
And then at that point, don't they both cross-dress, him and the kid? Like, he teaches them how to... Yeah.
Is it in 3D, the third one?
It should be. It's an underwater... They do the whole thing underwater like an Esther
Williams.
Thank you.
So the one thing I did want to say, I'm coming from Steve Lemmy's house. He's one of the lizards. And I was stopping by... Yeah, Broken Lizard, sorry.
That's your crew.
That's my guys.
Huge stardom with Supertroopers.
Yeah.
And what do you... now you got a horror movie coming out soon.
I shot a horror movie last year that will be out this year called Dark Circles. Yeah.
Circles?
It's about parenting. You'd love it. It's about how having a baby destroys your mind.
And the guy goes crazy?
It's 2 parents with a brand new baby that move into a new house. They don't know that there's construction all around, so they've got like crazy loud construction around them all day, and then the baby won't sleep at all night. So it's about what sleep deprivation does to you and the pressures of having a kid and having a new house and starting to see things in the house that may or may not exist.
It's insomnia, but with babies.
Yeah.
Instead of Pacino,
Baby Insomnia. It's like a Muppet Baby.
It's Pacino and Robin Williams. Who are the stars of?
It's Jonathan Scheck. You know who he is?
Yeah, I
Great
do.
actor,
He
yeah.
was once upon a time married to Christina Applegate.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's awesome. And Pell James is the actress, who's awesome too. You'd see she's in a ton of stuff.
I see her. She's always recommended a follow on Twitter.
Is that right?
And you're not on Twitter.
I am, but I never.
Your last tweet was like beginning of March, and it's stuff that you want your kid to read after you die.
Yeah, what I thought was
creepy.
I was going to create a Twitter account that was not used for self-promotion or anything, but to be like, all right, all these things I want to say to my kid, but he's too young for them to make sense now. This will be my way of jotting them down. But then the more I started doing it, then it became just random, the kind of stuff that everybody tweets. So I don't know. It's lost its... It was this kind of unique thing. It was all just things from me to my son. But
you should write a book of that.
That was my idea. Is I'm too lazy to write the book, so I'll make it into like a Twitter account. So just when I think of something, I'll do that. But
that is kind of how you would write a book. Just when you think of something, you could write it down.
Then you write it down. I guess you're right.
You do a lot of stuff.
Doing when I leave. Before I forget, Steve Lemmy was like, "You're going to Jay Mohr's house?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Tell Jay." I used to be a waiter at City Crab. So before we made Supertroopers, he was a waiter at City Crab in New York. And he said,
on Park Avenue.
Yeah, Park in like 20th. And he said, you were his best tipper. He said you came in and gave him a $50 tip on like a less than $100 bill.
That's how I rolled, baby.
Well, that was my question. Is that your thing, or you think
I
you just?
I was a waiter for so long, and I got shitty tips for so long that I always completely overtip. I just think it's kind of like I don't think people realize that waiters make like $1.10 an hour because the government goes, that's minimum wage for waiter. They're the only group of people, I think, that have a completely separate minimum wage from the rest of the world because they get tips. Right. So when you don't tip them, you're essentially saying, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's out of ignorance. People just don't know that they're not making $6 an hour. And there's this weird thing, if you're not used to going out to restaurants, you're like, well, that's his job. He brought me my food. Like, why am I going to... When I go to the dry cleaner, I don't hand the guy a $5 on the side for dry cleaning my shirt. That's his job. So I think people don't understand. And by people, I mean,
What I had never even... this is the first time...
Here? Can you go look real quick while we talk? I just keep hearing thumping and rooting around. Just take a quick peek for me. Go ahead, Soter.
Well, I mean, in this whole time that I've known, the whole time I've known Lemmy, which is 20 years, this is the first time in 20 years Lemmy has told me a story about a good tipper, because all he ever would talk about was stories about celebrities who were shitty tippers. And so,
give us one.
He said TLC came in terrible.
Really?
The worst.
All three of them combined?
I think they all came in, or maybe it was Lisa Left Eye.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Is that a problem in the community? Like, we can't keep losing people to waterfall chasing. We have to put out a public service hit that says, don't do this anymore. Hey, let us go! Let me get this dog inside. You gonna walk her with no leash? All right. There you go. It's a madhouse. Sorry. That's why people have studios, because things like this don't happen. Where's the dog? What's that sound? What's the noise? So he said I was a good tipper.
He said you were awesome. Yeah. And he said he remembered it and said, I gotta tell him thank you.
He can thank me by writing me into anything.
Okay.
Because I like the way you guys roll.
It reminded me then that the only other time, but when I was telling somebody I was coming to see you, the only other story that somebody told me was also a story of you in a restaurant, but a very different story. And I don't know how you're going to feel about this.
No, I
don't know how you're going to feel.
Warts and all.
My friend Brian said, "Oh, you're doing Jay Mohr." I had the funniest experience where I was also at a restaurant in New York. This would have been the last couple of years, because I think he said it was you and Nikki. And I think it was like the Blue Water Grill.
It was in New York. It was either Milos. That's kind of it.
Well, this guy said it was the Blue Water Grill, but it might have been in the last 4 or 5 years. But he swears you came in with Nikki, sat down at the table next to them, and then moments later you got up to go to the bathroom. but you had tucked the tablecloth into your pants accidentally, and that you stood up and, like in sitcom fashion, yanked everything off the table.
That's very probable.
And then you and Nikki got into such a laughing fit that you guys just then ran out of the restaurant laughing.
That's impossible. She's like uses all of her powers for good. So if that happened and there were like things broke, she would like run into the kitchen and started working.